Hello. Right. I thought I'd just share this. It's Friday morning. Um, Waiting for the US Open. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while, just based on stuff I've seen. This is completely unrehearsed and unscripted, so forgive the ers, ums, and so on. So, this is an exercise that I think would benefit completely new traders. So if you're completely new, but also if you've just focused on some really technical stuff, levels, pinpoints and things for a long time, and not really looked at why price moves how it does. I think that last bit is often overlooked for a long time by people beginning trading. I certainly overlooked it. So this exercise is just supposed to give you a feel for where price is going, where it might be going, when it may have changed direction, and just to try and help you get in the flow of how it moves, which if you're scalping, should help you a lot. The other thing is these things are somewhat what they call fractals. So this is a very short time chart here. You can see it's 80 tick on a CFD. It's probably something like 120, 140 tick on the futures. But you can scale this up to minutes, hours, and so on, and the patterns are very much the same. I think this is much easier to see on tick charts rather than time charts. The other benefit of tick charts is each bar is the same amount of ticks. You can kind of throw away having a separate volume analysis on your chart. I'm keeping this very simple, just bare candles. The only indicator as such on here is the bar type, which is Heikin-Ashi. Most trades are small lots, and if there's 80 trades in every single bar, the different size of bar, small, big, means something. And you can look at just the bars rather than having to focus on volume down here and so on. Just makes everything very simple to start. Anyway, the exercise, I get straight to it. You can do this and you might have an aha moment. I hope somebody does. So what we're looking at, 80 tick chart, Heikin-Ashi bars. We're looking at these, what I would call kind of ignition bars, where price actually takes off from an area. So there's just randomly almost mark a couple, not randomly, but so we got a takeoff there, a takeoff point there, takeoff point there, takeoff point there, takeoff point there. What you're looking for, most of these takeoff points are going to be the areas where price comes back and retests. Not the tops and bottoms as is most often taught. So we see it here, we took off, we come back, we test, not to the top, not to the bottom, we just come to the takeoff point. These bars are large because it was a faster move, momentum, and the volume was a lot thinner in this area, and on a tick bar you can see that quite clearly because the tick bar will be larger, which means basically it probably covered more ground for a similar amount of volume. Anyway, but if we keep doing this on the downside as well, so we've got a takeoff here, we come back, we test it almost to the tick, you have takeoff here, we come back down, test it, come back up, test that one, keep moving up, test this one, take off bar here, ignition bar, whatever you want to call it, come back down, test this one here, getting a lot of lines now, but if you do this yourself you'll pick it up quite quickly. So where do we come back and retest? This major one, exactly here. And in between there's all these little wiggles. So we have this takeoff bar here. What do? We come back, we test them. We have one again here. We come back, we test it. And this is what price tends to do. So anytime we have an area where price kind of goes zoom in one direction and starts a move, unless there's a driving force that just keeps driving and driving and driving it, it tends to either come up against another area of the same type and then come back and test the previous ones. And you can follow price around like this. The other important thing to notice when you're doing this, see, look, I mean, I know these are drawn in hindsight, but if you they're pretty good. If you notice you have these bigger moves, and then if you look at the smaller ones, you can decide when price has actually changed direction. Like we have a takeoff bar here. We come down, we come up, we come up. Once these actually break to one side or the other is when you tend to have a change in behavior, a change in trend. So if, for instance, like here, you were trying to stay in on this uptrend instead of a trailing stop, which normally you trail up, price is going to come back and knock you out. So you've got an ignition bar there. What happens is we go up, we come back, we test it, we continue on the trend. We mark the next one. We go up, we never come back and test it. We've got another one. We mark it off, we go up, we come back, we test it, we continue. We mark it off, we go up, we never get back to it. There's actually a smaller one here which gets retested. We take off again, previous area. See, we break through it. This way you can actually follow up a trend. These can actually also, if you did manage to get a good fill down here by, for instance, just by luck or whatever, goes back up, comes back up, down, retests exactly where you think it should retest, and then continues off in the other direction again. You can actually add another unit to your trade here if you're trying to add, making sure that you put your stop somewhere where it isn't going to hurt you if it does come back quickly with larger size. But these are great ways to confirm, price is moving exactly as you want it to. And these pullbacks aren't problems, they're actually saying, yes, we're in an uptrend, because each of these test points has held and we carry on. But let's, trying not to cherry pick things in hindsight, we can mark these off. Well, that is kind of in hindsight. And scroll sideways a bit. Excuse me. We're stuck in an uptrend. So, but there we go. Maybe that wasn't the greatest example. It is demonstrating, of course. We never came back and retested this. We came back, we retested it, we continued on. These little pullback ones are being broken. We're in an uptrend, which isn't hard to see. But anyway, do that exercise, mark them off like that, and follow price in real time, and see if you can see where you think price is going to change direction again. And if it doesn't, pay attention as to whether it is an actual trend change or not. And then once you've done it on the small time frames like that, because this will give you lots and lots and lots of opportunities to actually do it, up your time frame to something larger and do the same thing again. You'll realize the same thing still really applies, but you're just playing larger moves on large time frames. Anyway, hope this helps somebody. Maybe it'll give you an aha moment. It took me far, far too long to actually discover this for myself. And I'm pretty sure, reading and tweets and seeing how other people trade, there's a lot of people that even maybe quite experienced that haven't kind of really got an idea of how price move from point to point themselves. Anyway, Hope it helps somebody. Thanks. Have a good Friday. And a good weekend.